Tinubu, put your 2027 ambition aside. Call for a referendum geared towards regionalization. And I bet you 50% of your...
Hello and what's up guys? In this video, things just took a serious turn as a Hausa man delivers one of the strongest warning to President Tinubu, and honestly, the message is shaking many Nigerians right now. He says Tinubu must forget about the 2027 ambition, step back and call for a national referendum that will move Nigeria towards regionalization, or else the country may not even exist long enough for anyone to contest anything. According to him, Tinubu's biggest problem is not just insecurity or the economy, it is a desire to continue as president. He asks a painful question: how can you be president when the country itself is falling apart? He says he is tired of calling for intervention because, in his own words, there is nothing this government can do anymore. Then he goes after the Senate. He questions how they are thinking, asking what exactly are they drinking to believe that recruiting 100,000 new soldiers will magically fix anything. He reminds them that for decades, Nigeria has only managed to recruit about 170,000 soldiers, yet suddenly they want to pull off some miracle recruitment in one go. And even if they somehow do it, he asks, is this the same army with repentant insurgents inside? The same military where soldiers buy their own uniform and boots? The same system where even feeding allowance struggles to reach the men on ground? He says nothing has changed, the corruption is still there and nobody wants to address it. He also warns that Nigeria is still using 1980s tactics to fight modern guerrilla warfare. Instead of investing in technology, we still load young men into Hilux trucks and send them into deep forests. He compares this to Jonathan's era, when foreign mercenaries reportedly used advanced gadgets, gather intel from inside a room and neutralize radical elements swiftly with evidence. But now, all we hear are headlines that Air Forces has bombarded this and that. Meanwhile, even senior officers are being captured in the field. He asks a tough question: how do senior officers feel when a brigadier general ends up in the hands of miscreants? According to him, it is all deception. Even forest guard has been deployed, yet nothing is truly being fixed. He accused officials of presenting solutions only to secure allocation and share resources, while the real security crisis wasn't. He says Nigerians are now even looking to the US for intervention, not because they trust foreign powers, but because the government appears completely clueless. He warns that if nothing changes, Nigeria may descend into a full lawlessness that will affect the entire world. He also challenges the narrative around recent attacks, from the church attack to the kidnapping of young girls, saying the government keeps brushing everything off as farmers' header clashes instead of admitting the seriousness of the situation. Then he circles back to the biggest message of all: regionalization. He insists that once Nigeria is regionalized through a referendum, half of the country's problem will disappear instantly. He says Nigerians don't care who intervenes anymore, they just want something that works, because this government is not addressing major issues like open grazing, constitutional conflicts with political sharia, and other unresolved tensions. Guys, I will let you watch this video for yourself so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. Take a look guys, and remember to share your thoughts after watching.
Tinubu, put your 2027 ambition aside. Call for a referendum geared towards regionalization. And I bet you 50% of your problems will be solved. But you no go listen, because your problem is also you want to be the president. You want to continue as the president. But can you be a president when the country doesn't exist anymore? Keep quiet about this. I am done calling you to intervene in regards anything or whatever, because as far as I'm concerned, there is absolutely nothing you can do. I am telling you. And the fact is, I'm not even saying this out of my own. Let's look at the interventions you people are planning to intervene now. Is it not a joke? What are the Senate? How are the Senate thinking? What are they drinking? Calling for 100,000 men to be recruited into the army. For decades, you have succeeded in decades. You have succeeded in recruiting 170-something thousand in the army. All of a sudden now you want to perform the magic of recruiting 100,000, right? And once you have done that, you believe the whole issue will be addressed. Oh, I don't know how you are thinking. And are we talking about the same army that you have repentant Boko Harams in them? Are we equally talking about the emphasis that the men you have still use their money to buy uniforms, boots? Are we talking about the military that even their feeding allowance to get to them is the problem? Are we equally talking about a lot of shady corrupt issues? And nothing has been done in that regard. And let's face it, what 2 million men cannot do, basic technology can do. Looking at what is going on now, the armed forces is still operating the 1980s method of operation. That is to say, and we're talking about fighting a guerrilla warfare here. But you still believe in acquiring hillocks, loading people's children inside, sending them, leaving them in the bush, or whatever you believe that is what we address. It's not a game of number. It's not about number. It's all about technological advancement. Looking at the testament of that lawmaker that came out to talk about what progress they have had during Jonathan when mercenaries were employed. You heard him saying that there will be like just 10 in the room with their technological gadgets seen everywhere. And once they have noticed, they have gathered enough intel, they go on their chopper, and all of a sudden, within 2 hours, they are back. Neutralize all the radical elements and come in with picture evidence. But what do we have? All we just see is just headlines. The Air Force have bombarded so. The Air Force have bombarded so. While they are bombarding so, they are picking a brigadier general. And I want to ask the senior officers, how do you feel when they tell you that this is a brigadier general lying there, captured by miscreants that are tantamount to nothing? Well, let's just keep deceiving ourselves. And at least the last time I checked, Forest Guard was also deployed. I think part of what they do is, once an issue is presented, they present methods that will just resort to allocation of resources, and all of a sudden, the sharing formula starts and nothing more. Well, to the US again, all hope lies on you as well. Nigerians are counting on you. Downplay it, don't mean it, or whatever. But at the end of the day, your intervention or not, your intervention is quite important. But if it doesn't, at least Nigeria will get to that state of lawlessness, and it will affect the globe on a higher proportion. So keep denying there's no genocide. I think the attack in the church was a farmer headers clashes. And the picking of the 25 years in Kebbi too was farmers headers clashes, right? So let's just keep debunking, keep recruiting men, keep sending them. Let your ministers be doing the job of saying that doesn't exist while you people lack capability. But at the end of the day, there must be a country for there to be a president. But most importantly, I am telling you, when you regionalize, 50% of your problem is over. Regionalize with referendum. Seriously. But if you think it's a joke, well, the fact is, at this point in time, actually, Nigerians don't even care about whoever is intervening as far as there's going to be an intervention, because the government is clueless at this stage. And are we even going to be talking about what is expected of them to do? What happened to open grazing? Up till today, you still have headers roaming up and down. What happens to those radical aspects of the political Sharia that is introduced, that is at loggerheads with the constitution? Why are you not talking about it? It's not an issue, right? It's not too important. That is not the problem. What happens to...
I am honestly convinced that this country needs to be looked at again. The structure of the country is designed in such a way that we accuse each other and no one is better off. And I think, like you rightly pointed out, the question is, what is the constitutional process that can lead us to amicably and peacefully sit down and tell ourselves the honest truth? And the honest truth to me is simple, that we can accuse each other, we can point fingers. The question is, who is actually better off? I'm a northerner, I'm from Kano State, and I have been accused by colleagues and brothers in a very civil political discussion of dominating the polity. So I asked the question, if I dominate the polity, but what is my economic situation? And what is my security situation today? So the question is it working for me if I dominate somebody? It's not. The question is, look at all the indices of development. The North today is actually worse off. Security, education, prosperity, development, I don't know. What have you? The North is not very well positioned. In fact, other parts of the country that have been pushed off in opposition space have managed to organize themselves into a survival mode and come up with a credible economic and development model. So I will say to you that, look, I think this country needs to be reviewed, and I think need to be fairly and equitably structured. I've always advocated for what I call development federalism. Development federalism, in my view, is a consensus by the 6 regions and Abuja to create a development template over time and devolve power gradually to the regions and to the states. The truth of the matter is we all need to go back to our states. If all the states are working, the federation will be working, because development is not in isolation. Everywhere you go is either a local government or the state. So if you devolve power to the local government and to the states, and then create an economic investment template in the form of development federalism, which basically bring the potential of South-South to be an oil and gas hub in Africa, we will stop importing petroleum products. We will stop importing things that we should be exporting, and we will become net exporters of that product. The Southeast, we all know, are very ingenious people with technology, manufacturing, and trading. Please, let us invest heavily. Let us leverage on our resources and raise the capital to invest heavily in manufacturing, so that we don't import things from India. We don't import things from China. We import and we produce these things we need for agriculture and for our transportation and other industrial machinery in the East. It's doable. I've been to Newi, I've been to the industrial hub of Aba. I've seen what the East can do. We will be proud to say, made in Aba, produced in Aba, made in Nigeria. And we will all be proud citizens. And the economy of the East will be a net contributor to the center. The same thing with the Southwest. Southwest dominantly is a manufacturing and marine economy. Singapore is exactly like that. And therefore, if we develop the marine economy, the ports, and the manufacturing base of the Southwest, we will be net exporters of goods and services and service providers in marine. And therefore, the Southwest economy will become net contributor. If you take the 3 regions of the North, Central, East, and West, and you take the 3 countries of Cambodia, Thailand, and Vietnam, our economy is almost the same thing. So, and these countries are booming individually. If you invest today in these regions in agriculture, agro-processing, and organized market with the standards for export, standard for feeding Africa, we're even lucky that the African Continental Free Trade Agreement is in effect. We have the whole of African market to ourselves and the world. We will be one of the richest regional zones in Nigeria. Therefore, the North will now become net contributor to the center. And Abuja can maintain our sovereignty, can maintain our identity, can maintain our defense, can maintain our currency, and we raise the flag. Now I am saying honestly, the structure of this country is not working. I don't want to be accused even when I am suffering. I want my people to wake up and rise up and feel proud, just like every other Nigerian will feel proud when that sense of ownership is created. We should review. After all, the amalgamation has expired, so the government of today should actually honestly review its position, and the National Assembly, as I said, with the political parties, both PDP and APC as the major parties and other parties, to sit down and say, how do we do this peacefully? We all love each other. We all are Nigerians. We all respect each other. At individual level, we all have friends across the whole country. And honestly, everybody wants to have a giant, functional, proud country called Nigeria in Africa. Not only Nigerians, the whole black are looking up to us to leadership. We are better up together, but we need to have a functional structure.